How would you like a 15% discount to my daily email, the stack of stuff, the show notes, discounts to the conference, all of that? All you need to do is text the word show to 33777. You'll get the annual subscription with a 15% discount to my daily email. You'll get the stack of stuff, the links to the show notes, discounts to the conference, and so much more. All you have to do is text the word show, SHOW, to 33777. Text show to 33777.
Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show podcast, Hour 2.
Hello, America. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, would be happy to have you with me. Do not forget to text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. Get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast. If you live in the state of Georgia, you have a Public Service Commission election, and there are communists running. Go vote for the incumbents to stop the communist takeover of the Public Service Commission in Georgia. Go vote, please. We got to talk about healthcare a little more, because I kicked a hornet's nest yesterday, and I didn't mean to. Yesterday on the program, I was talking about I would like to be able to provide health care for my employees. I only have 5, really, I guess 6 total employees if I count myself. I'd love to be able to provide health care for my employees, but I can't. It's too expensive. I don't make enough money with my radio syndication business right now. We're on less than 100 stations, hoping to get to 100 by the end of the year. But we don't make enough money for me to be able to provide health care. And I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who's a CFO for a private school in my town that has a couple hundred employees. And he said that they're having massive insurance hikes for the company. If you're a large business in this country and you have over 1,000 employees, you can get a reasonably good nationwide insurance policy, particularly if you're spread out across the nation. You actually can it's still expensive, but it's easier for you if you're a multi-thousand person company with employees across multiple states to get a healthcare plan than it is if you have like 10 employees or 100 employees in a single state. It's extremely expensive. A friend of mine who actually works just down the street from where I'm broadcasting took over his father's company. His father, Tom Wagner, was a dear friend of mine and my wife's. And my wife was the assistant to the president of Mercy University for a number of years, my alma mater. And they used the company core management to handle their insurance. They were self-insured essentially, and they structured an insurance plan. And Tom sadly passed away a number of years ago. Great, just phenomenal man. His son took over the business, and we were talking not that long ago about it. And he says he's just advising more and more really small businesses that you're going to have to pay your employees a little extra and put them on Obamacare, that there's just no financially viable option anymore for small businesses. There used to be before Obamacare. There used to be options for small businesses to be able to pay employees and give them meaningful health insurance. The problem is Obamacare by design was designed to drive up healthcare insurance premiums. Why? Why would the government design something? Because what was the end game? According to Barack Obama, Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, was a halfway point between what we had and what he wanted, which was government-controlled health insurance. The Democrats, particularly the socialist left, fundamentally believe in government-controlled health care in the United States. And what the Affordable Care Act was designed to do was to not make it affordable. They did the same word game as the Inflation Reduction Act that Joe Biden did. The Inflation Reduction Act actually didn't reduce inflation. It made inflation worse. The Affordable Care Act actually didn't make health care affordable. It made it more expensive. It's the word games that the left plays, even when they do legislation. The intention of Obamacare was always to drive up the cost of privately funded insurance so that employers could no longer afford to give it to employees, which would create a national demand for a government take over the healthcare sector. It's what the Democrats want because the Democrats idealize Scotland and England and Canada and countries around the world with government-controlled health care. There are a lot of problems with government-controlled health care, including that it doesn't work well in those countries. Now, there are lots of people who will tell you it works well, but if you're someone with a critical need in those countries, good luck getting in. In Canada, at this point, you're more likely to get a prescription for euthanasia than you are chemotherapy, it seems. It's a little bit of exaggeration on my part, but not far. You have people in Canada, veterans who suffer PTSD, they offer them euthanasia as an option instead of therapy. That is not an exaggeration. Let's start with the starting point here. The United States has 340 million people. We represent 4.1% of the global population. China represents 17.2%. India represents 17.3%. The United States, for perspective, the United States of America is the third most populous country on planet Earth. You have 1.41 billion people in India, 1.40 billion people in China, and 340 million people in the United States. You know who number 4 is? Indonesia, 284 million people. Pakistan has 241 million. Nigeria has 223 million. Brazil has 213 million. Bangladesh, 169 million. Russia, 146 million. Mexico, 130 million. We are the only first world nation, because I don't include China. China's a third world nation that thinks it's first world nation. We're the only first world developed nation on planet Earth in the top 10 for population. The second first world developed nation is Japan, and it's number 11 at 123 million. You have to scroll all the way down to number 20 for the United Kingdom. 69 million people. We're 340 million people. The United Kingdom is 69 million people, or 0.8%. In the United Kingdom, they are far more homogenous. Despite all the talk about the Muslim takeover of the United Kingdom and the colonies and the like, the United Kingdom is far more homogenous than us. Canada is even whiter than the UK. It's only got 41.6 million people, or 0.5% of the global population. And the left loves the Scottish healthcare system. They've got 5.5 million people. We have 340 million people. Scotland has 5.5 million lily white people. We have way more people from way more places all over the United States in rural and urban divides. And healthcare, by the way, is not a federal government power. It's a state power. And you have to remember, Obamacare was salvaged by John Roberts as a tax. I don't think that the federal government actually has the power to offer universal health care. I still think Obamacare should have been declared unconstitutional, and I think John Roberts learned his lesson, played it too clever, thinking Mitt Romney would get elected in 2012 and fix the thing, and that's why he bought the GOP a lifeline. And what has the GOP done with the lifeline? Absolutely nothing. The Republican Party in the United States has offered no substantive alternative to health care from Obamacare. Absolutely nothing. There are certainly think tanks out there who have proffered ideas, and many of them are health savings accounts. And, we shouldn't actually pay for oil changes any more than we should pay for your annual checkup. You should have to pay out of pocket for that, and that would bring the price down. I mean, we've got some we got a circle of jerks in Washington, D.C. going blind in the bathroom, and think tanks coming up with unpractical ideas for dealing with health care on the Republican side. You know, there actually are some things Republicans could do to deal with health care. There is some data first, and I want to read you a tweet. This is from Amy Klobuchar. Early retirees, this is a CNBC article she's linking to about a couple named Bill and Shelley. Early retirees like Bill and Shelley will see their health insurance premiums increase nearly 300%, from $442 to $1,700 per month if congressional Republicans refuse to extend the enhanced tax credits. That's an extra $15,000 a year families can't afford. Now, you should note that Amy Klobuchar actually voted to get rid of the Obamacare subsidy that was extended during COVID, and now she wants it back. So Bill and Shelley's health insurance premiums increased nearly 300% if the subsidy from the federal government goes away. Bill and Shelley Gall say they'd be rich if it weren't for their medical bills. How sympathetic. This is the actual story she's linking to. The early retirees who are on an insurance plan purchased through the Affordable Care Act marketplace spent upwards of $20,000 on health care expenses and insurance premiums in 2023 and 2024, largely due to chronic health issues and emergency eye surgeries. The couple's on pace for a slightly smaller sum this year if they're lucky. But next year, the Galls, who live in Meridian, Idaho, are bracing for their costs to grow significantly. This actually doesn't sell Obamacare, does it? Shouldn't it? Now, here's the galling thing, and this is a reply. This is from a guy, his Twitter account is Investor Nick. No wonder younger Americans hate the boomers so much. These people retired early in their 50s. They're getting a $127,000 a year pension plus Social Security. They got their cake and their cookies on the side. Imagine being in your 20s and 30s struggling and then reading this kind of stuff. Look at the comments. So they're in their early 50s. They retired early. They get over $100,000 a year in pension, and now they're having to pay their own insurance costs, and they're upset. They don't want to go back to work. They just want you and me to pay their health care bills. That's what they want. These are the sympathetic people Amy Klobuchar is highlighting. According to the Wall Street Journal, the average cost of a family health insurance plan is nearly $27,000. The cost rose steeply a third year in a row, reaching just under $27,000 for a family plan. This is a 6% increase from the year before and builds on 2 prior years of 7% gains. The cost is rising faster than inflation, and economists and business leaders says it could bite into employment and wage growth. If healthcare costs go up faster than the economy in general, that means there's less money left over to go to wages. J.H. Barra Paving Company in St. Louis is struggling with this trade-off. The company is facing a 15% health insurance rate increase this year on top of last year's increase. That extra cost is likely to put a lid on wage increases for the company's workers. They've got 1,860 employees. Or sorry, a KFF survey, which includes more than 1,860 employers, was completed earlier this year, offering a detailed snapshot of workplace insurance. Nearly half of the U.S. population gets health care coverage through a job. The rising cost of employer coverage is driven by higher health care spending. Insurers and employers point to rising rates of conditions, including cancer in the working age population. Hospital prices have gone up as health care providers have negotiated higher rates of their contracts. Employers are seeing increased outlays on new and costly therapies, particularly the GLP-1 weight loss drugs. You know, there are some ways Republicans could lower costs. They could get rid of the mandates. Do you know if you're a man and you get on an Affordable Care Act plan, you have to pay for your pregnancy? You have to pay for mammograms? You got to pay for your own pap smear. If you're a dude, and I'm talking like a real dude, not a trans dude, but you're a real human being, man, born as a man, identifying as a man, you still have to pay for a pap screening test you'll never use. You have to pay for a mammography test you'll never use. You have to pay for your pregnancy costs, though you will never get pregnant, because the Affordable Care Act mandates you do. You could actually get rid of the strict insurance requirements that are found under Obamacare and allow people to more customize their plans for what they actually need, and rates would come down just because you wouldn't be forced to cover as much stuff. Obamacare also doesn't allow the pooling of coverage. If you've got a company and I've got a company and we're in the same business, we're not allowed to combine forces for economies of scale in insurance. We're not allowed to do that. Republicans could allow them to do that. There are some very simple things Republicans could do to begin to bring down costs. But also, contrary to the belief the media and the Democrats would perpetuate, the system we had before Obamacare was actually cheaper and better. more people were able to get more affordable health care insurance, and you weren't breaking small businesses. Remember, Obamacare was designed to break health care, to force people to want government socialized medicine. Republicans have had all these years to say they hate Obamacare, and they have not yet once come up with a plan to challenge it. It's time to change, and Republicans need a free market solution to lower costs. Y'all, I have been waiting to tell you about Cove Pure. I'm so excited. So, I moved my radio show and podcast out of my house to a studio, and I'm in a big corporate building, and you don't really trust the water out of the pipes. Cove Pure is the fix. They've got clear wave technology. It removes 99.9% of contaminants, lead, PFAs, pharmaceuticals, you name it. I've got one in my office, and I finally have stopped buying bottles of water thanks to Cove Pure. There's no need to call a plumber or drill any holes. I was able to do it. You just plug it in on your countertop. You set the temperature you want on the touchscreen. It tastes like water. That is, it doesn't have a taste. It's fantastic. Take back control of your family's health and drink water the way it's meant to be. Go to covepure.com/Eric right now. Get $200 off while supplies last. That's covepure.com/ERICK. Covepure.com/Eric. Get $200 off. Covepure.com/Eric. Yeah, you can call in 877-973-7425. Be patient with me on the phones. This is a short segment. I'll get to you. Can I just put in a plug for you to watch Slow Horses if you have Apple TV? It is back. We're 3 episodes in. It really is the best show on TV. And it's on a streaming service. You got to have Apple TV to watch it. But it's just so good. Warning, British language and humor. So there's lots of bad words. My gosh, I forgot the British and their language. Post-Christian society. They got lots of bad language. It's Gary Oldman, though, and it's such a good TV show. It really is a good TV show. The latest episode drops tonight, and it was such a my God, I can't even. It was 5 seasons in. This is 5 seasons in, so there's 5 years worth of it, but they're only I think 10 episodes per season. It's a great binge watch. Slow Horses on Apple TV. I can't tell you the number of people I've recommended it to. Every single one of them has liked it, except for one, but he was dropped on his head as a kid, and that's his explanation. Everybody other than somebody who's in the office through the wall has liked Slow Horses. So now, 877-973-7425 if you want to be on the program. When we come back, I got to talk to you about accountability. The Democrats right now, they've got the Nazi running in Maine, and they refuse to recognize it. Republicans are refusing to hold their own side. I got a side story. It's not even about politics, about accountability and why it matters. But first, I need to tell you about Americans for Prosperity. They are going around the country doing what they can do to help conservatives advance common sense reforms at the local, the state, and the national level. Americans for Prosperity, they can teach you how to go door to door to explain why conservative policy matters to your neighbors and help get out the vote. They can teach you how to go to your local city council or school board or your state government or even your members of Congress to explain common sense conservative policies to them. Or they could just make you the most informed person in your circle of friends. So when your friends start talking about stuff, you already know the policies, the solutions, and where things stand in your local, state, or federal government. All you have to do is go to afpvolunteer.com. Do you want to be the know-it-all for your friends? The guy they all come to answer their questions about public policy? afpvolunteer.com. Do you want to be the guy who turns out the vote and saves the elections for the right? afpvolunteer.com. Do you want to go to your state government, to the legislature, and advocate for school choice or tax reform or things like that? AFP Volunteer. They'll teach you how. They will empower you to make a difference. They have chapters in every single state. All you have to do is go to afpvolunteer.com and sign up today. Hello, America. It's Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, very happy to have you. Before I move on, let me get to Amir waiting patiently. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. How you doing, Eric?
Great.
Hey, just want to say, I remember when this Obamacare came out that, automatically they exempted themselves, the senators, the congressmen, just about all federal employees. Everybody was exempt from that. Why is it? Why do they do it? If it's good for us, it should be great for them because they make plenty of money. They can afford to pay $25,000-$30,000 a year premiums for 1 year, or family of four. That should be nothing for them. And
Right.
At the time that Roberts, that you said that he kind of, I feel like he made the wrong decision. You're right there because he had a suggestion how the law should look in order to make it legal. Well, what should have happened is taking that suggestion back to Congress and have a vote on it as a tax and not as a fee or something like that. And I bet you if it was worded the right way and sent back to Congress, this way it's almost like Robert said, hey, just word it this way and I'll let it slide through. They didn't. They worded it, but that was not voted like that in the Congress. It was
Right.
voted as a different way. So I feel like that law should have not really count, period, because they didn't vote on that change after Robert suggested the change.
Right.
They never had a vote after that.
Well, and not only that, what they did do is they changed the individual mandate to be no longer enforced. And it actually did go back to the Supreme Court because Republicans in Texas filed suit and said, well, now that we've gotten rid of the Obamacare tax, it's no longer a tax. Surely it's unconstitutional. And the Supreme Court said, actually, no, they changed it enough that it's still constitutional. Look, unless the Republicans come up with an alternative, we're not getting rid of it, and they need to come up with an alternative. It's just absolutely, it's infuriating to me. And there are, for example, a lot of doctors now. In fact, I use a doctor who is the concierge service now. You pay a little bit a month, and he's pretty much on call all the time and takes care of stuff. And it's actually, for me and my needs, I mean, the guy's office is very close to me. I can call him when I need stuff, and we can do telemedicine, and it's way more convenient. And I really, really like what the process. My wife has a doctor that she uses that's regular with insurance and all that sort of stuff. And I just, there are lots of ways you can get around it, but a lot of them are a pain in the butt unless you got some money to deal with it. Jane, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi there.
My comment is similar to what you were just saying. I have a direct care doctor. I also have insurance because it doesn't cover hospital, but my direct care doctor is very convenient. I can call or text anytime, day or night, 24/7. The cost is $80 a month for me, and I get prescriptions through him, so I get them at his cost. So, example, one prescription I get was going to be $120 at the pharmacy, and I got it for $9. It's just a blood test, $600 through regular insurance costs me about $100 and something. So it's very helpful in that regard. And like I said, I do have insurance on top of that to cover hospitals. So
Right.
I want you to make that comment. But
Yeah, look,
I wish it's kind of like the old-fashioned doctor.
Right. I didn't know it was an option, and I discovered that it was, and it's so my doctor is at the retirement age, and just like, I'm tired of dealing with insurance, and actually a lot of his cost and overhead, he ran the numbers, were on having someone in-house who could fight with insurance and deal with insurance and file insurance. And he just went to, it's a flat fee a month, like $100 a month, and I can get in when I need to get in and see when I need to see him and do telemedicine when I need to do telemedicine. And I get blood work done regularly, and it's just, it works. And it's a novel out of the box practice, but I think more and more people are going to go to it, and not every doctor can, not every doctor will. He didn't have any more medical loans and stuff, and he was able to transition his practice. And I think that it's something people need to consider, but Republicans need an answer. Now, I want to shift gears. I got to remind Republicans in Georgia, you have a Public Service Commission race, and go stop the communists, please. because a lot of Democrats are going to turn out. So please go stop the communists. Please go vote. Public Service Commission, vote for the incumbents, Fritz Johnson, and vote for Tim Echols, please. I think I'm going to say this in every segment of my show until the election now because I'm worried about the communists taking over the Public Service Commission, and you need to stop them in Georgia. But that's not what I want to talk about. There have been a lot of conversations the last few weeks about accountability, and I find it very notable that the reporters and the Democrats who were highly outraged about a group of young Republicans and their group chat are giving a pass to a Democratic candidate who got a tattoo of the actual group of Nazis who carried out the Holocaust. They're upset about a group of kids who aren't running for office in their group chat. They are not upset about a Nazi running as a Democrat. I'm sorry, but if you're willing to get in, the guy claims to be an amateur historian. He's down with history. He got a tattoo on his chest of the SS group that carried out the Holocaust. If he were a Republican, it would be disqualified. Look at the Jerusalem cross. Pete Hegseth got the Jerusalem cross tattoo, and it was a dog whistle, according to the left for white nationalism, a dog whistle. I'm sorry, but the actual symbol of the SS group that carried out the Holocaust is not a dog whistle. That's a Nazi symbol you've decided to put on your chest. And interestingly enough, his former political director says he's the one who brought it up himself to get it out of the way, given all the other opposition research leaking out about him. It's very interesting to me that we have reached a phase in politics where neither the Republicans nor the Democrats really want to hold their own side accountable. And look at Jay Jones in Virginia. Democrats are going to go vote for a man who said he was comfortable with the idea of murdering a Republican politician and killing his children for the audacity of saying a nice thing at someone's funeral. Jay Jones is also the man who got out of going to jail by committing to do community service and did half of his community service for his own political action committee and had his staff lie about the nature of what he was doing to keep him from having to do actual community service. And the Democrats are perfectly fine with this guy. They would rather this guy than someone with an R next to their name who they all know is a good and competent man and ethical. There's a school near me. ACE, the Academy for Classical Education. It's a charter school. It started off as a charter school in my county. It has now become a state chartered charter school, and kids from all over can go to this public school. In fact, a number of the private schools in Middle Georgia where I live have lost kids to this public charter school because you don't have to pay. It's a public school. They're notorious for their homework policies. The kids basically at the school are given so much homework they don't have time to get into trouble because they're overwhelmed with homework. It's busy work homework in many cases. It's not homework to actually improve their brains. It's just busy work to keep them busy at all times. I know a guy who was a teacher and coach at this school, and he was fired. He was fired because he was accused of being inappropriate towards a student in a bathroom at a golf club. He was helping the golf team, and someone claims to have seen him gone into the bathroom and behaved inappropriately with a student in the bathroom. The school fired him. Here's the thing. It didn't happen. In fact, he's filing a lawsuit against the school now. See, the school investigated. The school hired an outside investigator to investigate. Every kid was interviewed. Not a single kid saw anything. Not a single kid was involved. Not a single kid came forward to say anything inappropriate had happened. In fact, they all denied it. They all couldn't believe it. Every adult was interviewed. None of them saw anything. None of the students complained to them. There were no witnesses. There was no victim. The school concluded that whoever the person was who claimed it happened had not seen what he said happened or she said happened. We don't know who the complainant was, but there are no victims. There are no eyewitnesses. There's nothing. One person claims they saw it. That person is anonymous. But the school decided to fire the man because of the just rumor of impropriety, not the appearance of impropriety, the rumor of impropriety. That was their excuse for firing him. He did nothing wrong. Everyone says he did nothing wrong. But because the rumor got out there that he did something wrong, they fired him. He attempted to apply for another job, and whoever the person is who claimed to have seen what they saw called that school system, told them he had done this inappropriate thing, and they refused to hire him. Couldn't get a job in education. The man did nothing wrong. He's completely innocent. The school's internal investigation decided he was completely innocent. And still, they fired him. Not only did they fire him, someone used the rumor to deny him another job. The police investigated. The police said there's no there there. An outside investigator was hired. He said there's no there there. And still the guy was out of his job. And you know the response from some of the people who go to this school? It's to circle the wagons around the school and say the school did nothing wrong. The gentleman and his family have finally sued the school, and this is what I'm outraged about, this lawsuit that he's filed. Why should I be outraged that a man I think was innocent and accused of something inappropriate? Why should I be outraged about a lawsuit? I'm outraged because I think he should sue the snot out of them, and he's not. He's not suing them for much. He's suing them for salary and some damages. He should be suing them for millions of dollars for what they did to him and his family, and he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to hurt the school. He wants to be made whole from the injustice, but he also doesn't want to hurt the school, which goes to speak to his character, because I think if what they did to him was happened to me, I'd sue him for millions of dollars. But it's the kind of guy he is, and the kind of woman his wife is. But you know, the reaction in the local community from some people who are supporters of ACE, the school, is he should have kept his mouth shut. And how dare you defend him? You could hurt the school's reputation if people knew about this. So the school ruins this guy's reputation over nothing. And there are people whose kids go to the school like, we can't do anything. We don't want to risk hurting the school's reputation. The school committed an injustice, and with the behavior of some of the parents, the school can keep on committing an injustice because in their logic, they have to protect a school that ruined a good man's reputation because there's no victim. There are no eyewitnesses. There was no wrong done. The man was falsely accused. And yet there are people who will defend the school and its handling of the situation because their tribal loyalty is to protect the school that they have ties to through their family or their donations or what have you, which allows the school to continue behaving badly. They ruined a man's reputation and deprived him of his livelihood by accusing him of doing something awful that the police and their own investigators said never happened, and they didn't care. They didn't give him his job back. They tossed him and his family out of the school. They should be punished. And the people who defend the school should be ashamed of themselves for seeing an injustice and deciding that their precious school is more important than an individual human being who is their neighbor. Now let's transition that to politics. I would not vote for someone who did what Jay Jones did. It's not a matter of me saying, oh, I would refuse to do it because he's a Democrat and I'm a Republican. I have refused to vote for Republicans for doing those awful things. Because you got to hold your own side accountable. If you don't hold your side accountable, the voters will hold your side accountable. Yesterday, I defended Kash Patel, the FBI director. Kash Patel is Hindu. He put up a tweet about Diwali, the Hindu holiday, and the racist supposed pastor Joel Webbin attacked him on social media. I defended Kash Patel. I don't practice the holiday. I don't celebrate the holiday. I don't participate in the holiday. But he's an American citizen. He is the FBI director. It is his religious holiday, and he was wishing those who practice that holiday happiness. He didn't deserve to be attacked by a racist. But that Webbin guy has been allowed to fester on the right because there are too many people on the right who say, hey, there can be no enemies to the right of me. We should allow this guy to thrive within our movement and fester racism. And I don't think you should. And I think just because the Democrats are hypocrites on this, we shouldn't be. The Democrats are absolutely hypocrites on it. And you Democrats need to know you're hypocrites on this. You would be vilifying Jason Marys if it was his text messaging. You would be calling for Republicans to denounce him. And you know what? I would. If it was him doing what Jay Jones did, I would denounce him as I denounced Jay Jones. And I have a record to prove it. I've denounced Donald Trump repeatedly. I've refused to support other Republicans, but it just keeps coming up over and over again how you guys demand that Republicans hold themselves to a particular standard you refuse to hold yourselves to. You have a man running in Maine who got a tattoo on his chest of the SS division that organized and carried out the Holocaust, and you're like, it's just a tattoo. It means nothing. And yet you're the same damn people who looked at the Jerusalem cross on Pete Hegseth and said it was too damning to qualify him to be Secretary of Defense. It was a dog whistle for you. It itself represented nothing, but its meaning, the undercurrent of it to you meant something terrible. The actual Nazi brigade symbol is on a man's chest, and it means nothing to you because of the D next to his name. Your tribal loyalties discredit you too. All of you should be ashamed. You want to get rid of hypocrisy in politics, you got to hold your own side accountable. Breaking news, North Carolina's legislature has just redistricted to make the state even more Republican for Congress. That just happened. Now, I got to tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You can get 3 of them and save $200. Get them for less than $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. All you have to do, go to the website, EdenPureDeals.com, put in the discount code ERIC3, ERICK3. They're air purifiers, so they get rid of dust, pollen, pet dander, things like that, particulate that floats in the air. They even kill 99.9% of bacteria and viruses floating in the air, but where they really shine and how I use them is as an odor eliminator. They generate ozone, and ozone can tackle any odor. Ozone goes where the odors are, finds them, and wipes them out, and they're highly effective at it. I've used them in hotel rooms and rental cars where someone smoked. I've used them in musty attics. I've used them on my back porch when the window was open and the smoker smell got in. You can plug it up with a USB cord. You can plug it directly into a wall, and it just works. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3, EdenPureDeals.com. Get 3 of them. You save $200. You get them for less than $200, and they really work to wipe out any odor. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code ERIC3, ERICK, the number 3, no space.